Viewers, for the first time in contemporary history, the future of class 12 students will be decided by what they have done over the last 2 years. After carrying out rounds of deliberation, the Central Board of Secondary Education has come out with its class 12 board marks formula. Viewers, the formula is based on the performance of students of the class 10th board, class 11 exam, final exam, and also, viewers, the class 12 pre-board internal assessment and mid-year exam reviews. Viewers, class 10 results will contribute 30% as weightage to the final result. Class 11 also will contribute 30%. And what you have done in class 12, including, viewers, your pre-boards will be considered only 40%. So if you have been a consistently good student, you will do well and you will rise to greater glory. Those who perhaps were distracted in class 10 or were doing subjects in which their aptitude wasn't a reflection of their capacity will be disadvantaged. Many of you in class 11 might have been pursuing extracurricular activities to create for yourselves a resume, a biodata. Others might have been preparing for technical exams, entrance exams to engineering or medical colleges, and if you did not pay much attention to your class 11 final results, you will be disadvantaged. Is this formula that depends on the past to determine the future a fair assessment of a student's capacity, capability, and of course, his eligibility to get into college? Those are some of the fundamental questions. The announcement that was made really in court today in the context of a Supreme Court hearing divided opinion very quickly among students and the academic class. Let us first listen into what some of the students had to say. Listen carefully.
मैं बहुत खुश रही हूँ इस क्राइटेरिया से, क्योंकि 10th में हमारे पास 5 सब्जेक्ट्स होते हैं जो हमारी चॉइस के नहीं होते हैं, वो हमारे लिए मैंडेटरी होते हैं उनको पढ़ना। तो उसमें हमारी परफॉर्मेंस नेचुरल सी बात है डिफ़र करती है जो हमारी 12th की होगी, क्योंकि 12th में हम चूज़ कर लेते हैं कि हमें कौन से सब्जेक्ट्स आगे जाके पढ़ने हैं। तो 12th की परफॉर्मेंस ज़्यादा अच्छी होती है एज़ कम्पेयर टू 10th। और जब आप हमारा 10th के मार्क्स भी 12th में रिफ्लेक्ट करेंगे तो परसेंटेज में काफ़ी दिक्कत आएगी, क्योंकि वो हमारे हिसाब की नहीं होगी।
See, I am happy because I have scored good marks in 10th and 11th. But some students, they could not prepare the 10th exams well because they were not serious or maybe because of other reason. So they might not feel very good about the marking system. But the exams were already delayed. So the students were mentally disturbed. The new marking system is definitely good. It is considering the marks of all the 3 classes, last 3 classes. So better than delaying the exam, the marking system is definitely good.
It's a great relief for the students also, because especially the science students who are also preparing for the competitive exams like JEE and NEET, they are also waiting for how their board exams are going to happen, how their marks will be given. So as a science student, I think that this decision is very good for the students.
Viewers, opinions divided. But let me quickly take you through some of the criteria. So, as I told you, 12th based on unit midterm pre-board exam, 40% will be the weightage. We are also being told, viewers, that the schools can decide whether they only want to depend on all the pre-boards, the unit tests, and of course midterm, or they just want to focus on the pre-board. If they think that they had a robust enough pre-board, they can only settle on one exam outcome. Class 11, based on the theory component, of final exam, and that will carry a 30% weightage. Class 10 based on the average theory component of 30%, best 3 performing subjects out of 5. That's the leeway. Of course, there are several more categories because a large number of subjects are more predicated towards practicals and fewer of them are predicated towards, of course, theory. So there are subsequent breakups, and we have made a whole table for you representing to you viewers the various categories that you can have a quick glance at. There it is. So if you have practicals that outweigh your theory, then the percentages, the weightages change, and you can do your calculation. Now viewers, of course, there are many concerns. For example, you heard some students say that subjects in 10th are mandatory and not what students choose. Students in class 11 concentrate more on competitive exams. 60% weightage to class 10, 11 marks will affect the results. These are some of the concerns. Concern 4 allows schools to indulge in partiality to inflate marks. Concern 5, setback for students who migrated to different streams. Process could be tedious for those who switched boards in class 11. It's a big concern, viewers. And process can be complicated who change schools in also, of course, class 11. So, viewers, there are several of these concerns. There is, of course, CBSE providing some options. Students can appear for exam for improving marks. Exams will be conducted when conditions are conducive. Marks scored in re-exam will be considered as the final. And there are, of course, dispute resolution solutions also that are being built in. The CBSE is to respond, the government has to respond to the Supreme Court on those. But let's quickly open this up and first break down what this means for students. Let me bring in Dr. Sudha Acharya, Secretary of the National Progressive School Conference and Principal ITL Public School. Dr. Acharya, I want to ask you a direct question. When you were here on Times Now a few days back, you said that you wouldn't really want to see class 11 exam results be taken in to this assessment because, as you know, students sometimes are distracted. So first of all, I want to ask you, how does this system work? For example, why is it that only class 11 theory component is being taken and not the overall result, theory and practicals, number one. Number two, why is it that there is no choice of best of 3, for example, in class 11 as it is in class 10? Number 4, why is the 12th class grades only 40% of the weightage, while what you did in the past, which has never been evaluated earlier, ever, in the history perhaps, or recent history of CBSE, being given such an important weightage of 60%. How does this work?
Let me tell you at the outset, any result based on statistical approximation or interpolating mark will never substitute the perfect examination and its assessment. So we are just trying to get near to the exact result which we would have got if exams would have happened. So with that, let me explain you with 3 components. Class 10th, I told you that class 10th I prefer 20%, but here for the benefit of the child, because suppose say any child who is not good in Hindi or SST or any of the subject which the child doesn't want to pursue ahead. So best 3 subject average has been kept keeping in view the child's welfare. I mean, children are appreciating this. If we have done well in 3 subjects and the average is taken, so they are going to benefit. But it may so happen if my English, Math, Science average is taken in class 10th, but I am going for or I am pursuing humanities in 11th and 12th. So these 3 subjects would not continue in my selection of subjects in 11th and 12th. So that's why 11th is taken, even in the recent past when I said I would not prefer class 11 to be included. But I had a discussion with CBSE officials also. What I gathered, they are saying some of the schools which are residential, children went back to their native places and could not be reached out due to digital divide. Even some of the students of KVs could not be reached out. So these students have not appeared in any of the or only one unit test, which is a very small percentage of exam of 2 chapters or 3 chapters. So most of the students have not taken all the exams, school-based exams of class 12. So for them, class 11 has been kept so that the same subjects, same syllabus, same curriculum they are pursuing in class 11. So that was the logic given. Those who could not appear in class 12. Suppose say in my school, we have conducted all tests, unit test, midterm, pre-board, even pre-board online, pre-board offline. And again, when I come to class 12 assessment, this year, all the assessment, most of the schools have done online. So online mode assessments, as you know, truly do not reflect or doesn't reflect the child's performance. Most of the cases. Class 11 final exam was conducted in a normal atmosphere, pre-COVID time and physical mode. So that's why it is thought that class 11 assessment final examination, let me tell you here, in our CBSE pattern, class 11 final means it is carried forward, comprehensive overall assessment, child's unit test, midterm, annual exam, and then we compile the result into overall assessment. If that is taken, then class 10 one reflection is there, those who did not appear in class 12 exam. So in class 10, 2 apprehensions that I may not pursue the same subject in 11, 12, the average, the 3 base scoring average, for that class 11 is taken and class 12 is taken. Class 12 assessments are never standardized. That's why the base of the this assessment policy is class 10th. That is the differentiator, as I told earlier.
Okay, so, 1 second. Let me just step in here. Dr. Acharya, just clarify 2 more points. Yeah. Why is, okay, I understand the logic behind class 10, best of 3. One understands that the school has been given freedom as far as class 12 is concerned to consider either all or one test. Either they can consider the pre-board if they think it's been robust, or they can go with unit tests, midterms. If some schools have conducted 2 pre-boards, they can choose. I understand that. But what about class 11? Because this is where a large number of students have problems. Why is it that only the theory component and not the practical component is being taken? This you need to explain. Why has this been split?
Yeah. Class 12 practical marks as usual, like if the subject is 70-30, complete 30 marks is taken. And class 12, if it is 80 and 20, complete 20 mark practical marks are taken. Class 11th, whole exam is internal based. So some of the schools, all of the schools, they have conducted all the theory exams. If we take internal assessment of practical, then lot of, it won't be fair at all. Some of the schools may tweak the result and all, because internal assessment, as I told earlier, we are not that matured enough. If I want to be frank enough, like if 30 marks practical, most of the schools, they give a range of 20 to 30. Most of the students, they get 29 or 30. So 12th, already 30 marks we are taking practical. If we include again 11th class practical component, it will be too high. Then we will not be testing the knowledge of the subject, of the student. That's why. Too much weightage of practical will go.
So you're saying that in class 12, okay, so the class 12 weightage of practical has been set to 20 marks? Is that what you're saying? So each exam will be out of 80?
No, there are subjects like physics, chemistry, biology, which has got theory component 70 and practical 30. There are subjects like economics, business studies, accountancy, English, where it is 80 and 20. So we have to take 40% of 80 or 40% of 70. So 40% of 80 will come 24, 40% of 70 will come 21, like that. It's a formula actually.
Okay, so this is the comprehensive...
yeah. For practical subjects,
yes. No, go ahead, please, go ahead.
For practical subjects, we are taking 21 plus 21 plus 28 plus 30 practical. Let me explain you. If the child is having physics, chemistry, biology, English and maths, English and maths are of 80 and 20. So 40% of 80 is 24. So for class 10, 24 weightage, class 11, 24 weightage, class 12, 32 weightage and practical 20, it makes 100. those subjects whose practical component is 30, for class 10, 21, class 11, 21, class 12, 28, and practical 30. It makes 100. If
Right.
I take the example
So
of fine arts.
it keeps decreasing.
Yes.
It keeps
if I take-
decreasing. I understand that. But I just very quickly, Dr. Acharya, just very quickly, I wanted to ask you, will the results be projected subject-wise, or will it only be an aggregate, that is the total, with a percentage?
No, it will be compiled subject-wise as well as aggregate. We will be given by board. See, we do not have to do any moderation in class 10. That result will be coming from board because CBSE has class 10 board result. So we do not have to do that anything. For class 11 and 12, we have to do moderation. As you said, 11th class performance is not up to satisfaction of students. Students are not at all happy. Even class 12 pre-boards also, we do very strict marking to motivate students to improve upon. So for board exams, students really focus hard and they improve upon their result, isn't it? So class 11 and 12, when we are moderating, CBSE has given us the freedom plus minus 5 in subject average and plus 2 in overall average. So we will get reference here from CBSE. So child's historical performance plus school's historical performance is taken together. So overall, I would say it is very inclusive policy, taking 3 components of 10th, 11th, 12th.
So can you just explain to me how this works, ma'am? How does this work? So plus 5, minus 5, plus 2, minus 2, how does this work? Give me one practical example, for example.
Okay, I will give you one example. Suppose, say, one combination. A child has got physics, chemistry, biology, and fine arts, and English. So there, we will take, as I said, physics, chemistry, biology are practical subjects. So their weightage will be 21, 21 plus 28. And the practical mark out of 30 as it is, we will upload. And then in class, when we do this, when we compile, today only I have set the Excel format and complete formula I have set that the subject wise, if the subject is 80 mark, then I have to take 24. If the subject is 70, then I have to take 21. If the subject is 60 mark, then I have to take 18. As the practical component goes up, the theory weightage will change. So accordingly, for each child, every subject, I have to compile the result. But as exam controller told to us that the IT department of CBSE will facilitate us technically in this to compile the result.
Okay. Let me open this up. Let me bring in a student's perspective, and we are joined by Himanshi, class 12 student. Himanshi, what do you make of this?
Right. So thank you so much, ma'am, for firstly explaining the whole thing. I personally feel that the formula is great, but I have a bunch of concerns. So 40% of the 12th grade, marks, which is great since, the practical exams carry more weightage than the theory exams. Then 30% of the 11th grade exams, and in the 11th grade exams they were taken pre-COVID time, so that was an actual exam that you sat for. There was no question of like ma'am mentioned, cheating or if they truly represent the child's knowledge. And then the 10th grade marks, that was a national exam, everyone gave board exams, so again there's no tampering of results that can happen in the 10th grade or the 11th grade exams. Now I have 2 major concerns. The first one is that there are a lot of students that migrate from other boards to CBSE in the 11th and the 12th grade. And ma'am mentioned that best of 3 subjects out of, the 5 subjects that usually a student has in CBSE. And she also mentioned that CBSE itself will be sending all this data and they will collate it. So what happens to students that were in ICSE until the 10th grade? What happens to students that were in state boards until the 10th grade? What happens to their marks? How will they be, how will their 10th grade marks be considered? Is it the same thing that, 3 subjects out of best 3 subjects, those marks will be considered, or will something else be done for these boards? And my second major concern is that there are a lot of schools that are in socioeconomic weak sectors or that are in rural sectors that were not able to impart education, let alone take some kind of online assessment or take any kind of assessment. So what happens to those students that were not able to give exams in their entire 12th grade? How will they be assessed in this entire format that they've created with practicals and theory? Those are my 2 main concerns.
Okay. Let's get some responses.
Rahul.
Responses. Amita Vattal also joins us. Amita Vattal, would you like to take that? I'll come to you, sir.
Yeah.
Amita Vattal.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, surely. Firstly, I would like to congratulate the CBSE because I think the committee has come up with a very balanced child-centric formula. And I do believe that in many ways it's a win-win situation because at all levels, the child will not lose. Taking on from the fact, I don't want to be repetitive because I don't think that one can talk about 24% and 30% and 10% on national television because it confuses the issue more. What I do want to say, bring up what this young lady spoke about as far as class 10 was concerned. And I would say that automatically the 10th grade has already been thought of, and whatever the result is in 10th class, according to that, the students who are moving to classes 11 and 12 will accordingly move depending upon whatever their grades are or the averages are worked out for class 10. Having said that, the rural India part of it, I do agree with her, but here again, in rural India, there have been formal examinations in class 11. There have been examinations of the 10th standard when the children were giving the board. And all those will be used in the event of the 12th not being there for some reason. If they did not at all give any kind of assessment in class, any kind of exams in class 12 because lack of devices or lack of connectivity, then automatically the 10th and 11th will come into play. But the point is very, very clear that at no point will the child in any way lose. Because at every point the CBSE has said that if a child is getting something less, then it will be moderated, 5% more will be given. If in class 11, one is seen that the child is not getting not a very good assessment, then the class 12 previous year's assessment will be attached to it. So there's a lot of permutation combinations ranging from 2% to 5%. It can go up from 65 to 70. It can go from 70 to 75. The fact that referral years have been taken, which is so very important. The fact that there's a historical data, so nobody can blow up the marks or lessen them. And the main thing is that it is a life document, class 12. So if any child at any point feels that I should have got 98 and I did not get 95, the child can give the marks as and when can give the test as and when normalcy develops. So that itself is a huge window that the child has been given. As far as private students are concerned, they have been mentioned that they will be doing their on regular tests later on when situations normalize. So they shouldn't worry because there is even a case for private students who are going to go forward. And as I said, as far as 10th is concerned, whatever we have brought together for 10th, they will go and do it in classes, they will move to classes 11 and 12 in another school, and it will be accepted.
Okay. So you are saying that there is some leeway that has been built in by the board up to 5% for students who may feel that they are being perhaps undervalued. Okay, let me just bring in Vishnu Karthik and Professor Nalapat, two educationists. Vishnu Karthik, CEO of the Heritage Group of Schools. Yes, go ahead. What do you make of this?
So, Rahul, one, I think I'm in agreement with my fellow panelists that, they have come up with a easily implementable and relatively understandable formula or a framework. We should remember that we are in a large and a wide country with different kinds of schooling systems. And this is very easy, fairly to implement. But is this formula or the methodology fair? Is it going to reflect the true understanding of a student's learning levels? Is it going to do justice to a student's effort or respect to particular subjects? The answer is no. For one, I'm not able to understand why would you include grade 10 scores in the entire formulation of grade 12? For two reasons. One, we know from past data that the variance between grade 10 performance and grade 12 performance is wide margins. Many students actually turn around in grade 11 and 12. For two reasons. One, in our country, we take grade 12 more seriously than grade 10, and more importantly, students get to choose a subject they like as against in grade 10. And again, this formula of taking the best of three and superimposing that score on even a subject like humanities and accounts just doesn't make any logical sense. So I would have really wished the board had taken a more clinical approach of not including grade 10, especially when you have so much of data variances. And I know many students have not performed well in grade 10, will do well better in grade 11 and 12. And in some ways, I feel for a student who's trying to turn around, you're pretty much reminding that student that, oh, this is where you belong to, and I'm going to use that against you. That's fairly unfair. The second disconnect I have with this entire approach is that how is the higher education university going to treat this? Even if there is a window to write the exam later, which my sense is many students will take it, will the Delhi universities and the several state and the central universities wait till those exams get published? So that's another concern which the Ministry of Education has to clarify. There are only two things which I feel is a good thing in the entire scenario. Is one, I think it is going to drive a cultural change in Indian students and parents that please don't study last minute. Study consistently the way many international boards do. Get into the habit of studying even in grade 10, 11 and not just studying the last minute grade 12. So I hope that change is going to happen. And two, I think this is the first time CBSE is at least beginning to do moderations at the individual school level at grade 12 exams, because otherwise schools are known to inflate grades. You asked a question, Rahul, that why don't they use practicals in grade 11? The simple answer is every school inflates those grades, and that happens in grade 12 also. Practicals are obscenely inaccurate way to understand a student's performance. That's another scam waiting to be unfolded. But nevertheless, I think the focus now on moderations at the individual school level is a great beginning, which I know many international boards have started doing 20 years back. That continues going forward.
Sure. Let me bring in Professor Nalapat also. Professor Nalapat, your past is going to decide your future for the first time. The problem is manifesting itself because certain students have not really had the, perhaps discipline to do well in class 10 and 11, or maybe aptitude, and now they're going to be hung by this noose.
Rahul, I'm glad you're doing this program for a simple reason that much more than a university, what is very important to a country, to the future growth of a country, is our school system and school education. And at least to someone who's not directly in the field of education like myself, who is, in higher education, I do feel that we have not paid the attention to school education that needs to be deserved because the foundation is weak. Well, everything else, you understand what it will be. Having said that, I'd like to say that I'm glad that finally the CBSE has taken a decision, because with every week that passed, students have been going through mental agony and torture. They know very well this certificate is critical for the admission in colleges. And let me say one of the other problems, our previous guest spoke very correctly about some of the rigidities as did our, and all three of them. And I really, but that's absolutely true. The reality of the situation is that I only wish that a certain amount of flexibility had been given, in which, for example, the choice could also have been given to if possible, to a student. Is it going to be 40, 40, 20 or 30, 30, 60 in the final year? Things like that. There has to be flexibility in a modern system. Rahul, this is the age of the internet. When I was studying, you had to go to a library and carry some pretty heavy books with you. And these days, if you've got a laptop, that's all you need. So I'd like to say that, and first. Secondly, unfortunately, this advantage is very disproportionately given to those of a higher income group. Those of the lower income groups very often are completely disadvantaged. And I think our school system, our university admission system,
I agree with you,
all
Professor.
that needs to recognize that.
I agree with you. I think someone made the point that, I think it was the young perspicacious student herself who made the point that what about those who have not been able to sit for their class 12 exams, and we will have to be fumbling around in the dark, feeling the shape of the elephant there in the room. But let me bring in Amita Vattal on this one last time. Amita Vattal, it's significant. There are, of course, students, and we know because we have this sort of, I don't like to use the word, but rote learning emphasis, where in the last quarter, many class 12 students say, okay, now we see the ticker tape, we will accelerate to that ticker tape, forget about what we've done in the past, and we will go from 70% to 90% or plus. Now, what happens in a case where students are already showing in class 10, 11, there's an upward curve, and by class 12, they're really going up. But unfortunately, this system then holds them back. How do you account for that? A gradual progression upwards to the finals, the boards, which is perhaps going to be the grand finale of your academic aspirations. Will you be able to use that 5% discretion you have? How do you superimpose it? Can you explain that? Are you there with me? Can you hear me? Okay, let me bring in that. Yeah, can you hear me? Go ahead. Go ahead, please.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, I
Hello?
can. Go ahead, ma'am.
Can you hear
yes,
me, Rahul?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
What
go
I
ahead.
wanted to say is, Rahul, that
Yes.
ad nauseum I've said that everybody cannot be happy with what is happening. This is a completely different situation. The relief is, as somebody said, that at least the children know that there is a way forward, we're going ahead. Of course, there is no way of knowing what is the upward curve. Of course, there would have been learning gaps. Of course, people are going to feel a little in the dark, so to speak. But at the end of the day, this has been a very, very difficult year. And the last year, what I can see now is that at least this has given us a great opportunity to relook and rework our learning systems for the future. Because we have had this kind of situation, this vacuum that we have faced in the last year and a half, the kind of anxiety that our children have faced. So at least now the boards across India will realize that we have to look at learning, we have to look at assessment in a completely
so I'm asking
different
you,
manner.
as somebody who's a principal of a school and maybe part of this evaluation board that might be set up in your own school, how will you quickly bridge these gaps? You know that a student is on the up, and then suddenly the average doesn't reflect perhaps what they did in class 12 in the pre-board. How does that work out? If in the class 12 pre-board, supposing someone gets 90%, but their average on paper is 88%.
No. We've been given the flexibility, Rahul, to really look at it irrespective of the 5% and the 2%. These percentage are inconsequential. We have been asked to look at things and see how can we look at the way children are. It's a very compassionate way. I know it may not be scientifically in whatever way that we're looking at it in the nitty-gritty of it. But the flexibility given to every school has been absolutely amazing. And the fact that
so there is flexibility. And it is amazing. Okay, let's hope that you use that flexibility judiciously. We've had an engaging conversation. We will continue this conversation, viewers, in different modes over the next few days. Thank you very much. I'm taking a very short break. We'll be right back, viewers, with a big story. Don't go away.